Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be remaking another piece of pixel art past getting Ebenezer Scrooge all up in here. This time, I'm going to be showing you how to make Mr. Krabs. So, if you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need black wool, light grey wool, white wool, pink, magenta, purple, cyan, yellow, and finally, red wool. We're going to be needing quite a few more colours later on, but we'll just have to grab those as we need them since we seem to have run out of space. So once you've got all of your colours and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'm going to be making it right here. You're going to want to start out by stacking 2 red wool directly on top of each other, so 1, 2. What you're then going to want to do is extend out that top block by 1 either side, giving you a little T shape, like that. What you're then going to want to do, starting from the left side of our T, on top of it, you're going to want to place 1 red wool. Going right of that red wool, you're going to want to do 1 pink wool, and then right of that pink, you're going to want to do 2 red, giving you something which should look like that. What you're then going to want to do after you've done that is starting on top of the left side again, so right here, you're going to want to take out your purple wool and do 3 purple going right, followed by 2 black also going right, giving you something which should look like that. And that is Mr. Krabs' stumpy little leg. So once you've done that, you're going to want to come over to the black here, and on top of this right block, you're just going to want to place a single black wool. And right of that single black that you've just placed, you're going to want to go right with your purple, and you're going to want to go right by 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, giving you something which should look like that. And once you've done that, you're going to want to continue on in the same line as you've just placed the purple, except you're going to want to do this little sequence of colours. You're going to want to do 2 magenta, followed by 2 purple, followed by 2 black, giving you something which should look like that. What you're then going to want to do is come underneath what you've just made, and you're going to want to start underneath the left black block here, and you're going to want to do this little sequence of colours going back the other way. So going left, starting from underneath this left black block, you're going to want to do 3 black going to the left, followed by 2 purple, giving you something which should look like that. And this is just going to taper down into Mr. Krabs' other leg. So what you're going to want to do underneath here, starting from the right side this time, the end block here, you're just going to want to, going left again, 2 red, 1 pink, 1 red. What you're then going to want to do, underneath here, what you've just made, starting from the right hand side again, is just 3 red blocks going left. And finally, you're just going to want to place a single red block right there, underneath the most right red block that you should have just placed, giving you something which should look like that. And let me show you what you should have in total so far. We've got a nice little foundation to build our Mr. Krabs. We have both of his tiny little legs. So once you've done that, pause that if necessary, of course. Once you've done that, we can continue on. And we're going to be building up the sides probably quite equally. We're going to be starting on the right hand side first. So coming over to this black section here, where we did these 2 black blocks, you're going to want to, on top of the right black block, just place another single black block. Right of that, you're going to want to go right 1, then you're going to want to go up 1, and then finally right 1. What you're then going to want to do, from that right block that you've just placed, you're going to want to go up by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What you're then going to want to do, on the outside of this line that we have here, this should be a row of 9 in total, if I can do my maths, which I can't because it's a row of 7. On the outside of this row of 7, you're just going to want to do a row of 5, and to accomplish that, all you're going to have to do is just miss off a block from the top and the bottom to give you something which should look like that. What you're then going to want to do is come back up to our row of 7, the longer row here, and from this top block, you're going to want to do an up left diagonal from that top block, followed by a block going left, then a block going up, and then a block going left, which should give you something that looks like that. And that's the right side of Mr. Krabs, or the outline of the right side of Mr. Krabs at the very least. So we're now going to be building up the left side. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, move over to the left side. So coming all the way over here, back where we first started with the leg, you're going to want to start on top of this left purple block right here. You're going to want to take out your purple. You're just going to want to do one block of purple going up like so, followed by 3 up left diagonals. So 1, 2, and 3. From that third diagonal, you're going to want to go up by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're then going to want to do 2 up right diagonals. So 1 and 2. And let me just show you what you should have formed here. You're going to want to have something which should look like that. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we can start building up the torso of Mr. Krabs. And I'm just showing you this here because you should note that what we have on the right side lines up perfectly with what we have up on the left side. Just an indicator of whether we've built it right or not. In this case, I seem to have done. So once you've done that, again, pause that if necessary, you're going to want to come all the way back over to this left side again. Since we're here, we may as well start building up from here. And we may do a little bit of the buckle as well, actually. So starting from this topmost purple block, you're just going to want to do 1 black going right of that purple. You're then going to want to go down 1 from that black block, right 2 of that down block, giving you something which should look like that. You're then going to just want to place 2 black blocks underneath these 2 most right black blocks, giving you a shape that should look like that. And we'll mess about more with the belt later on, but I just wanted to add that in there as we're here. So continuing on, from on top of this black block here, you're going to want to take out your cyan wool, and you're going to want to do 3 cyan going directly up on top of it. So 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to do an up left diagonal, followed by 3 blocks going straight up. 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to, from that top block, the right of that top block, go right by 3. 1, 2, 3. There's a lot of 3s here, and let me just show you what that should look like. Once you've done that, you're going to want to take out your red wool, and continuing on from this line of 3 cyan that you should have just placed, you're going to want to go right by 2 with your red wool. Again, continuing the line, so 1, 2. You're then going to want to go down 1, then going to want to go right 1, then down 1, then you're going to want to go right by 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're then going to want to go up by 1, right by 2, up by 1, and then finally right by 1, giving you something which should look like that. Alright, so continuing on from where we left off, you're going to want to come back over to this row of red right here, and continuing in the same line as the red is going, so going over to the right, you're going to want to take out your cyan wool, and you're going to want to do 4 cyan going to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're then going to want to take out your red wool, and underneath the most right block of cyan, you're just going to want to go down by 2. Then you're going to want to take out your cyan again and do 1 cyan just beneath the 2 red wool. You're then just going to want to do 2 cyan going down to the bottom left, two bottom left diagonals with your cyan is what I'm trying to say, 1 and 2. And then all you have to do, as you may notice, we have linked up with the other side of our pixel art. You're just going to want to take out your purple and do 2 purple wool on top of these 2 black blocks here. So 1, 2, giving you something which should look like that. It's all by design, guys. It's all by design. We've linked nicely up with what we have here. So as you can see, there's Mr. Krabs' legs and his torso. All we have to do now are his head, eyes, and claws. So pause that if necessary, take it all in, make sure yours looks like that, and once you've done that, we're going to make the head. We're going to save the claws till last because, oh god, the claws are going to be irritating. So coming back over to here, where his head's going to be, this little section of red that we have here, we're going to be starting on the left hand side, and you're going to want to start on this second red block. so right here. And you're going to want to, on top of this red block, just place another red block. You're then going to want to go to the right by 1, then up by 1, right by 1, up by 1. You're then going to want to go right 1, and then up by 2. So 1, 2. You're then going to want to go left 1, then do an up left diagonal, left 1, then an up left diagonal. And you should be left with something that should look like that. And that might look like a weird shape, but that's Mr. Krabs' nose. So pause that if necessary, make sure you have that. Once you've done that, we can continue on. So I feel as though we should build from the right hand side now. I don't know why, I always like meeting things in the middle. So coming over to the right hand side, the most right red block that we have here, that's right next to cyan. On top of this block, you're going to want to, with your red of course, go up by 2 with your red. You're then going to want to go left 1, then up 1, left 1, up by 2, 1, 2. You're then going to want to go to the left by 2. Then you're going to want to, still going left, do 1 pink, 1 red, 1 pink. You're then just going to want to do 2 red, which should bridge the gap and give us the general shape of Mr. Krabs' head. So you're going to want to have something that looks like that. Alright, so pause that if necessary, and once you've done that, we can start moving on to the eyes. So first of all, we're going to need dark grey wool. So I would suggest banking your yellow wool and grabbing dark grey. I would also suggest moving your dark grey somewhere close to your black, white and light grey wool, just for convenience sake. So once you've got your dark grey, you're going to want to come to the top of the head here. And we will start with the middle section of the eyes, just because it's going to be easiest to place. So you're going to want to be on top of this red block here, that is sandwiched in between these 2 pink blocks. And on top of this red block, you're going to want to do a row of 11 dark grey wool going straight up in the air. 11, 1, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. From the top of that 11th block, you're going to want to do an upright diagonal and place 1 on top of it. You're then going to want to do another upright diagonal, place 1 on top, 1 to the right, 1 on top. You're then going to want to do another upright diagonal, place 1 on top, 1 to the right. You're then going to want to do another upright diagonal, followed by a bottom right diagonal, followed by an upright diagonal. Let me just show you what that looks like. It can get a little confusing if there's a load of twists and turns, so that's what you want to have so far. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, you're going to want to come back up to here. You're not going to want to continue on from the last block. That is Mr. Krabs' eyelash, this block here. You're going to want to be on this second block to the last one that you just placed, this one right here. You can see which one I mean. And you're going to want to do a bottom right diagonal, followed by a bottom left diagonal. You're going to want to place 1 block underneath there. You're then going to want to do a bottom left diagonal, place a block underneath, bottom left diagonal, place a block underneath, bottom left diagonal, place a block underneath, and finally bottom left diagonal. And this time you're just going to want to keep placing blocks underneath it until you hit the bottom of the head. So you're going to want to have something that looks like that. And you'll know that if you've placed that correctly, the long line of grey that you should have just placed, which connected the eye back to the head, it will be 1 block away from the edge of the head. So pause that if necessary. That is Mr. Krabs' left eye, technically. Left it from his perspective, but right from ours. That is his left eye. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we can move on to the other eye. And it's probably going to be easier for us to build the eye from the top. So you're going to want to come up to the top of the eye here that we already have. And you're going to want to, from this shape here, you can see the shape that I mean, from the top left-hand corner of the shape, this block right here, you're going to want to do an up left diagonal with your dark grey. You're then, left of that diagonal, going to want to place a single light grey. You're then, from that light grey, going to want to do 3 bottom left diagonals. So 1, 2, 3. Below that third diagonal, you're going to want to place a block underneath it. You're then going to want to do another bottom left diagonal. Underneath that diagonal, you're going to want to go down by 2. You're then going to want to do a bottom left diagonal. Underneath this diagonal, you're going to want to go down by 3. So 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to take out your black wool and do 2 black going straight down. 1, 2. You're then going to want to take out your dark grey, and underneath the black, you're just going to want to keep going down with your dark grey until it connects back to the head, giving you something which should look a little bit like that. And it looks a little weird now, it doesn't even look like his eyes, but it will do a little later on. So I don't know if I can get you a better view, that's probably as best as I can get. As I said, I see it differently on my TV rather than what you see. You see like a slightly wider shot, but I can't really anticipate how wide that is. But there you go, that's the best view that I can give you, I think. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, you know what? I was going to move on to the claws, but there's a little bit left that we can do with the eye. It will save us doing it a little later on. So come back to the top of the eyes here. Take out your light grey, and you're going to want to do this. I'm not really going to explain this. I'm going to do it and then show you, because if I try and explain, I'm going to trip over my words left, right, and centre, and it's going to be awful. But come to the top of the eyes, take out your light grey, and do that. They're just like extensions of his eyelashes. So add that light grey in there, very easy to do. It's really not too complicated. Add that in, pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're gonna do the claws. God damn, I've really been dreading doing these. I'm just getting a right view on my plans. I've really been dreading doing these because they're big, they're just a giant red outline. It's going to take a little while. So I think we're going to start with what seems to be the harder claw first. So once you're done with the eyes, you're going to want to come down to the left side of Mr. Krabs, and you're going to want to be right here, where we have this row of 4 cyan wool that connects to the top of his shoulder. And you're going to want to start this off on the bottom block of the 4 cyan, so right here. And with your red wool, this whole next spot is going to be in red wool, by the way. You're just going to want to extend out from this block to the left by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're then going to, continuing on from this 4th block, you're going to want to go up 1, left 1. Then you're going to want to go up by 2, 1, 2. You're then going to want to go left 1, and then up by 3, 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to go left by 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You're then going to want to go up 1, left 2, 1, 2. You're then going to want to go up 1, left 1. You're then going to want to go up 1, left 1, up by 2, 1, 2. You're then going to want to go left 1 and then up by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me just show you what we've done there, since we've just done quite a bit of the claw. There you go, that's what you want to have. It's not exactly difficult, it is just one giant red outline. Eventually we're just going to circle all the way back to the arm again, and then we'll just fill it in a little bit later. Unfortunately we can't just fill it all in with red, we've got to throw in a few highlights here and there, but that's essentially what it is. It's not too difficult. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going right the way back up to here, and we're just continuing this. It is just one big giant line. So starting from this top block here, you're going to want to go right 1, up 2, 1, 2. You're then going to want to go right 1, up 1. Then right 1, up 1. Then right 1, up 1. And one more time, right 1, up 1. Now you're going to want to go to the right by 3, so 1, 2, 3. And let me just show you that, since there's a couple of zigzags there, and I want to make sure that I've done the right amount as well. So Yep, that's definitely right. I wasn't sure whether I did one too many, but that is exactly what you want to do. Pause that if necessary. Once again, once you've done that, you're going to want to come all the way back to here where we just finished off, and we're going to be continuing on the line. So from underneath this last block that you placed, you're just going to want to go down one, right one, then down one, right one. Then you're going to want to go down by 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then, with this row of 4 that you've just formed here, you're just going to want to extend out these 2 middle blocks to the right by 1, giving you a shape which should look like that. And I'm trying to get everything in that we've just done there. Give you a shape that looks like that. Then continuing on from this row of 4 that we made, this is just a little bit extra, it'll save me adding that on later. So continuing on from this bottom block here, you're going to want to go left 1, down 1, then left 1, and down by, hang on guys, this requires a little bit of counting on my part. Then down by 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're then going to want to go right 1, then down 1. You're then going to want to go right by 2, so 1, 2. Then you're going to want to go up by, sorry for this, I'm going to have to count this again. You're going to want to go up by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're then going to want to, from that row of, well, that's technically a row of 6, but you know where we are. So on that row of 6, on these 2 blocks here, you can see where I am, like one away from the top, the 2 right below the top block. You're just going to want to extend those 2 blocks out by 1 either side, going left on the left side. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words, but you guys can see what I've done anyway. So let me just show you what you want to have there. Pause that if necessary. That's the last stopping point before we finish this part of the claw. And let me just show you what you're supposed to have so far, just in case you're curious what it's supposed to look like. As I said, this is the last stopping point before I just finish the claw here. So there you go, pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, you can come back to where we were all the way over here. So from this top block here, as I said, this is just a little add-on here. So from this top block, you're just going to want to go right 1, up 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1. You're then going to want to go right 1, and then down by 3. So 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to go left by 1, then down by 2, 1, 2. You're then going to want to go left 1, then down 1, then left 1, and down 1. And once again, left 1, and down by 3. So 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to go right 1, and down 1, and then right by 2, which will connect everything together nicely. Let me just show you that little section which you want to have made there. There you go. As you can see, we've just made the smaller part of the claw there. Pause that if necessary. Let me show you the whole thing together. There you go. As I said, it's not difficult, but it is tedious, as most things with pixel art, unfortunately. So there you go. That's what you want to have so far. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we can get to work on the other claw. So once you have finished doing that, you're going to want to come all the way over to the other side of Mr. Krabs. And as you might imagine, his other claw stems from his other sleeve. And this time, we're going to be extending out from this top cyan here. This one right here. And again, this is all going to be in red, and we're going to be doing it pretty much identical to the way that we did it over there. It's just going to be one continuous line. So from this cyan wool here, you're going to, with your red, once again, extend it out by 3 to the right. So 1, 2, 3. You're then going to go 1 up. You're then going to want to do an upright diagonal. You're then going to want to go up by 2. 1, 2. You're then going to want to go left 1. Up 1. Left 1. Up 1. Left 1. Up by 2. 1, 2. You're then going to want to go left 1, then up by 3. 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to go right one, then up one, then right one, up one, right one, down one, right one, down two, 1, 2. You're then going to want to go left one, down by 3. So 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to go right 2, 1, 2. Then you're going to want to go up one and a right one, and I will show you what you should have so far. There you go, that is the smaller part of the claw. I have no idea what that part of the claw is called. Actually, anatomically wise, I have no idea what that is. But that's what you want to have so far. Again, it's not a difficult thing, it's just a tedious thing. Pause that if necessary, make sure you've got that right. Maybe I should have cut that out a little earlier to give you a better idea of what it was shaping up to look like. But, you know, pause that if necessary, make sure you've got that right. And once you've done that, we can continue on. So, coming all the way back over to here where we finished off. So from this block where we just went right one, well, on top of that block that you just went one to the right with, you're just going to want to go on top of it by, hang on, this requires a little bit of counting. You're going to want to go up by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're then going to want to go left one, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3. And then what you're going to want to do, these two middle blocks, you're going to want to extend them out by 1 to the left, giving you something which should look like that, and more so, including the couple of lines that we've done, you want to have something that looks like that. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, return to where we were, not this little add-on bit, this where we just went up by 3. From this top block, you're going to want to go right 1, up 1, then right by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're then going to want to go down 1, right 1, then down 1, right 1. Once again, down 1, right 1. This time, you're going to want to go down from this block by 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, giving us a giant row of 9. And what we're going to want to do to the right of that row of 9, we're going to want to do a row of 5 in the middle section of it, which pretty much just means you're going to want to knock 2 off each end, the top and the bottom, and you're just going to want to extend out the 5 middle blocks by 1, giving you something which should look like that. And let me just show you what this whole side wants to look like so far. You're going to want to have something that looks like that. There's really not that much left to make in the ways of the outline of the claw, so this is going to be the last pit stop, so make sure you have got that right, and let me show you what the whole thing is like. There we go. There you go, that's what the whole thing wants to look like so far. As I said, last pit stop, pause that if necessary, make sure you've got that right. Alright, so carrying on from where we went down by 8, from the bottom block, you're going to want to go left 1, down 1. You're then going to want to go left 1, down 1. Then left 2, 1, 2. Down 1, 1. Then you're going to want to go left by 3, 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to go down by 3, so 1, 2, 3. You're then going to want to go left by 1, down by 2, 1, 2. You're then going to want to go left 1, down 1, and then left until you hit the red right here. And you're also going to want to just place a red block underneath where you just connected the claw back to the army thing. I have no idea what to I have no idea what to call it, but you know what I mean. You can see what I've done. So let me just show you the little section that you should have just made there. Yeah, that's the bottom of the 8. So that's the little section which you should have just done. And this is the claw all together. So there you go, that was a real pain, wasn't it? Well, luckily that is the hardest part of this pixel art done. And, pause that if necessary by the way, and if you'll notice, that is the entire outline of Mr. Krabs done. Look at that. Well done, team. That's the most difficult part. All we've got to do now is a bit of colouring in. How easy is that? Could do that at 3 years old. closer to 9 years old if we're talking about colouring in the lines. So what we're going to be doing now is exactly that. We're going to be throwing a few colours in, and we're going to be setting ourselves up for just doing a load of block colours and just finishing off Mr. Krabs. So we're going to be starting with the bottom portion here. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be doing is making Mr. Krabs' belt, so we can put dark grey wool on standby for a little while, and yellow wool can make a glorious return. And this is probably a good place to say this. This next part of the tutorial it's going to be really difficult for me to explain what I'm going to be doing. However, it's going to be extremely easy to see what I've done, so it's going to have to be kind of like a monkey see, monkey do sort of situation. Like, I'm going to try and make it as obvious as possible what I've done. I'm going to give you nice pan-out shots frequently. So it's going to be easy enough for you guys to figure out what I've done. However, I'm not going to be giving you very good instructions because I'll just trip over my words and it will just be detrimental in the long run. So, with all of that said, continuing on, you're going to want to, after you've got your yellow wool, come over to this left part of Mr. Krabs where we have this weird black shape that I made earlier. This is part of the belt. You're going to want to take out your yellow wool, and you're going to want to carry on this top line from the black with your yellow by 4 going across. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to want to place a black wool, and then you're going to want to do 2 yellow coming down from this first yellow that you place. So 1, 2. You're then going to want to do a little black rectangle sandwiched in between the 2 yellow rows. You're then going to want to take out your yellow wool, and you're just going to want to kind of like go around the outside of that black rectangle that you've just made, giving you something which should look like that. So as you can see, it's kind of hard for me to explain what I'm doing, but there is nothing difficult about what I've done there, and it's the exact same sort of thing for the rest of the tutorial. So pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we can continue on to the next part. So we're going to be making the next part of the belt, and you're just going to want to do 3 black wool next to these 3 yellow wool here that make up the right part of the buckle. And you're going to want to extend out the 2 top rows here by 4 going right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and just below it as well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Giving you something which should look like that. That should be a row of 5 in total. You extend out the initial block by 4 going right. What you're then going to want to do is take out your purple coming across Mr. Krabs. You're just going to want to place 2 purple blocks right there next to the black wool. Next to the purple, you're just going to want to do a little 2x2 square of black, like so. You're then going to want to do another square next to the black, except it wants to be 1 block higher, so here and here. And you should notice that that will connect to the black part of the outline diagonally. So you'll know that if you've done the belt right, if it connects just like that. So let me just give you a whole overlook of the belt, since I've just been showing you what we've made there for a little while now. That's what you want to have for the belt. Pause it if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to be adding in a little bit of purple. So we've just got to add a little bit of purple wool on top of the belt. So coming over to the left side of the belt again, you're going to want to place purple on top of that black there. And you're also going to want to place purple on top of this long stretch here, right next to the top of the buckle, so right there. And you're also just going to want to do a little bit of purple on this black here. So you pretty much just want all of the black covered up on top of the belt, except that one little block there, which is part of the buckle. So as you can see, that's what you want to do. Pause that if necessary. We've also got a little bit of purple wool to add to the bottom right section here next to the black again. So you're just going to want to pretty much put purple here, here, and all the way up the side here. So just covering up the black there. And you're also going to want to do a little bit of purple right here. As you can see, just right there. So pause that if necessary. That's all of the purple that you want to add on the right side. And actually there is a little bit more purple directly underneath the buckle here. So the second block of the bottom of the buckle coming right here, you just want to do 3 purple wool coming down. So 1, 2, 3. So this is what the whole bottom wants to look like so far. Pause that if necessary. make sure that yours looks like that, and once you've done that, you're going to want to take out your magenta wool. And what we're basically going to be doing with the magenta is just like outlining what we already have here. And again, it's really undescribable, but we're pretty much just going around kind of the whole outside, or the inside of the outline is what I should say. And I'm going to show you me doing it, and then the result of me doing it. However, I'm not going to be explaining it. As I said, it's really is impossible. But it'll be extremely easy to see what I've done once I have finished, just because it is extremely close to other lines of the pixel art anyway. So I'm actually almost done. As I said, it stems mainly around the outside, so let me show you what the whole thing wants to look like. That, as a matter of fact, I'll also take off the interface, just to make it that little bit easier. So there you go. That's what you want to have for the magenta. It sits nicely around the edges of what we've just done. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we've got a couple of details to add to the shirt. So coming to this section here, which is Mr. Krabs' shirt, we've got a little bit of cyan wool to add to make up the collar, and then we are good to go with the shirt. So first of all, you're just going to want to place a single cyan wool right here, in line with like the end part of this belt. So just a single cyan wool there. Then you're going to want to come up to here, and you're just going to want to place cyan wool. You know, again, I just can't explain this. Well, I suppose I could, but it'd be really difficult. I'm just going to do it, show you, and that'll be that. There you go. That's that little part of the collar there. Then I'll just work on the rest of it. And those of you that may not be able to, you know, copy from like the end picture, I mean, if you want, all you'll have to do is just watch what I'm doing now, try and keep up, pause regularly if it's so difficult for you. So there you go, that's what the shirt wants to look like once you've added all of the cyan to it. There is no more detail in the shirt, we'll just have to throw another colour in there a little later on, so pause that if necessary, make sure you've got that, and then we can move on to the little head section here. So we've just got to add a little bit of pink in here just to highlight Mr. Krabs' features. So first of all, we're just going to want to add 2 pink on this side right there, on the right there. You're then going to want to, after you've placed that, it'll make this next part extremely easy to place. Going left of this top pink, you're just going to want to do 2 red, followed by 3 pink. 1, 2, 3. Giving you something which should look like that. What you're then going to want to do is, underneath the 3 pink that you've just place some red. Most of this is going to be red, as I said anyway. And you're just going to want to do a line of pink just underneath that little row of red that you should have just done underneath those 3 pink blocks there. You're just going to want to do a row of 6, I believe. Yep, row of 6. My maths has helped me. There we go. So you're just going to want to do a row of 6 there. Then you're just going to want to, this block here, just place a single pink block underneath it, and then skip a block. Next block there, just place 2 pink blocks underneath there, and then skip a block from this bottom pink block that you've just placed and just place a pink block there. Giving you something which should look like that. And that looks like a little bit of a mess so far, but once we add red in there later, it will look perfectly normal. So pause that if necessary. That is the entire head of Mr. Krabs, or entire face I should say. We've got to do the eyes next. So they're the highlights for the face. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we can move on up to the eyes. So for the eyes, we're going to need 2 colours. We're going to need a dark grey back, and we're also going to need a little bit of sandstone. So grab your sandstone block and your dark grey wool back. First of all, we're going to put in Mr. Krabs' pupils. So you can see where we have this black on his technically right eye here, but left for us on this left eye. You're just going to want to do 2 dark grey directly next to those 2 black wool. And then in the same line that you've just placed those 2 dark grey, you're going to want to come over to the other eye. You're just going to want to place 2 black. So the pupils want to be in the exact same place as each other, like that. You're then going to want to take out your sandstone, and we're going to be doing a little bit of highlighting. So you're just going to want to place sandstone. Well, again, you know, I could explain where I'm placing this, but I'm just going to show you after I've done it, and everything will be well. Pretty much just on like all of the edges is probably the best way to say that. Just on all of the edges. And you're going to be doing the same sort of thing on the left, except it's just going to be on the under parts of the eye. So that is the right eye there, the highlights. Pause that if necessary. Move over to the other eye, and just on these under parts here, not this one, no. On these under parts here, just place sandstone just to highlight the eye. I suppose you could also use what's it called? Block of iron. That would probably work out nicely as well. But I use sandstone in the original. So that's what you want for the eyes. And the eyes will later on be filled in with white. So as you can see, all we've got to do is add a little bit of highlighting to the claws. And that's on purpose. All we've got to do to the bottom is add in purple. To the shirt, we've got to add in diamond, or I might find another colour. To the face, red. To the eyes, white. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just making it easy, breaking it down. So we now have to do the claws, which are going to be, again, the worst part of this. So we will start with the left claw, as we did with building it. And we're going to need our light grey wool back again. We're just going to need to highlight in the claws. We're just going to need pink, light grey and white, so I would stuff those closely together. And you're just going to want to do this again. Really unexplainable, but you know what? This is actually easier to do with the claws, because they are, for the most part, just an outline. So that is the little right section of pink that you want to add to the claw. There you go. And that is just light shining off of Mr. Krabs' shiny claw. That's what the pink represents. I see a lot of comments sometimes like, oh, why have you put orange here? Why have you put this? This, you know, this guy doesn't have this colour, this. It's just highlighting. It will look really plain if it is just red, but it's up to you at the end of the day. Do what you want. So that's what you want on the little shorter part of his claw. So finishing this up, let's add all of this in, shall we? Let's have no more interruptions. This tutorial's running pretty long as it is. So you know what? Red can go closer as well. Red can go a lot closer. Very inconvenient having them all apart. Yeah, speaking of the highlighting thing, I don't know how familiar you guys that will be watching this are with my pixel art, but something that I get quite often is on the Dragon Ball Z stuff, or Dragon Ball Z, if you want to be American, it's up to you. On the Dragon Ball Z stuff, it's like, Goku doesn't have diamond eyes, why would you possibly put that? His eyes are shiny, they're translucent in the series, they're nice and shiny and green. Diamond fits best. It's just like with this, I imagine some guys would be like, Mr. Krabs' claws aren't pink, they're not white. Highlighting. But there you go, that's what you want for the highlighting. That's probably quite a lot, so that's the whole thing together, what I've just done. And let me just show you the lower section. Pause that if necessary. And this is the upper section. Pause that if necessary. So let me just show you what the whole thing wants to look like, and then we'll move on to the other claw where we'll be doing something very similar. Pause that if necessary. That's all you have to do to that claw for the time being. So once you've done that, you're going to want to move all the way over here to the other claw, and we're going to be doing pretty much the exact same thing that we did over there, but over here in the exact same way. So I'm just going to do a bit, show you, do a bit, show you. You know how it is. So that's what you want to do there. The only reason I'm showing you that is because on top of that pink block that's all by its lonesome, you're going to want to then place a red block on top, and you're going to want to do 3 pink blocks there, starting in line with that little pink block that was by itself that we've just placed a red block on top of. You're then going to want to, from the 2 right pink blocks, you're just going to want to, on top of those, place 2 pink, and then continue that line of 2 pink until you hit red on that side there, giving you something which should look like that. Oh, and we also have to add a little bit of pink to here. I'm not exactly sure what this part's called. I've already said that about 3 times, but I think I'm going to refer to it as a pincer. So, just going to... Then again, a pincer's kind of like a claw. Yeah. So that's what you just want to do there. In case you're curious how many down that is, although you wouldn't really need to be curious, you just have to line it up with that red pot there. You just go 3 down from the 2 pink blocks there. So there you go, that's all you have to do to that little section. And then all the way back over here again, we've got to add in quite a bit of pink. So let me just do that. So that bit there, then that bit, and I'll show you after I have done that. So you want to add in a shape that looks roughly like that. Pause that if necessary. Now we've just got a little bit more to do. This is the easier claw, I'm almost positive. I feel as though it took me less time to make this claw, and it's also taken me less time to add in the highlights, although I haven't done the necessary legwork to figure out whether this claw is noticeably smaller. And then you just want to do that little bit of highlighting there. So pause that if necessary, make sure you've done that, and once you have, you will have all of the highlights done for the right claw. Is that the best view that I can get you? I feel as though I can do better. I think I can. There we go, that is probably the best view that I can give you. Really not that much highlighting to be done. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we will have a look at what we have. There we go. So this is the entire outline of Mr. Krabs, plus a few bits. So all we have to do now is fill in some block colours to the little sections that we have. We've got to fill in purple to his trousers, fill in... The original colour is diamond to the shirt, however I'm going to test out a couple of colours. We've just got to add red to the claws in the face, and we've got to add white to the eyes. I'm going to do this... Well, I'm going to split this up into sections and show you each individual section, just because, and well, that's pretty much how I'm going to do it. So first of all, I'm going to add purple to this bottom section. Once I've done that, I'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like. There we go, that's what the bottom section of Mr. Krabs wants to look like. They're his trousers. I have only added purple to that section, there is no more. If you have gotten to the point where I've gotten to, you know, minus this little part that I've just done here, of course, all you have to do is just add in solid amounts of colour to the pre-designated sections. As I said, this one just added purple. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we're going to add... I'm going to try 2 colours. I'm going to try diamond and light blue, and I'll come back with whichever colour I think looks better, so I'll be back very shortly. Alright, so I tried out both colours, and I've decided that I very much prefer the light blue wool over the diamond. The diamond, I actually prefer the colour itself, but I don't like the effect that you get with the diamond. I don't like the fact that you've got all of the lines in there. Don't like it, never have. I prefer to use wool where possible. Or equally so, any material that doesn't like show the lines in between each block. However, if you want, you may use diamond. Depending on which version of Mr. Krabs you're looking at, diamond matches up better with the colour of his shirt anyway. It depends which version you look at, but I'm using light blue. I like it better. Once you've done that, pause that if necessary, of course, all you have to do is, and I think I'm going to knock all of this out in one, all of this red. I'm going to fill in the face and both claws entirely in with red. I will be back once I've done that. Alright, so I've just finished filling in those 3 sections. I would give you a close-up of each section, however, that would be a bit pointless. As I said, all 3 of those sections have just been filled in entirely with red, no other colours added there. That's what they should look like. Pause that if necessary. Once you've done that, we can move up to the eyes. And the eyes will be extremely easy. All you have to do is fill them in with white. I'll do that and I'll be back. And there you have it. Those are Mr. Krabs' eyes. I just wish I could figure out a different colour to highlight the eyes with other than sandstone. I mean, the only other choice really is block of iron, and I don't think it'd do a good enough job to warrant the switch. There's not really anything else there. Light grey, that'd clash with the eyelashes. I don't know, it's up to you. You might like block of iron more. Sandstone works so damn well. I don't like it for the same reason as the diamond. It's got that texture on it, and I don't like that, but it does work out nicely. So those are the eyes, and let me show you the whole thing put together. There we go. That is Mr. Krabs. He's a big piece of pixel art. He's a little harder to do than the average bear. Looks pretty good though, if I do say so myself. I know that this video will have taken a while. I can already see it's taken over 40 minutes. I'm sorry about that. I mean, if I could have made it any faster, I would have. I could have cut out the parts of me colouring it in and adding in the highlights and stuff, but then I probably would have got comments about me. Well, you know, why have I skipped that out? Why am I just showing you, like, what I've done? So if you want, you can get the same effect as I do quite a lot of the other pixel art. It's been a while, but how I used to do the other pixel art is like, once I do the outline, I'd just show you, like, essentially screenshots of where I just coloured it in, and I'd usually, you know, do it in little sections, similar to how I've done this. Or the only difference with this is I've showed you the process all in one. So, there you go, that's Mr. Krabs' tutorial over. I hope that it was easy enough to follow, that's always the goal. I've got Patrick to make after this, and then I've got the whole SpongeBob crew remade. So yeah, thanks for watching, I hope it was easy enough to follow, and see you in the next one. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.